Hi, I'm Heather Lloyd.
Hi, I'm Kendall Taggart.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Kelly.
All right, so today we are actually wrapping up what has been a series of mini podcasts that we've been doing in support of Wred, which is Women in Real Estate Development here in the city of Toronto. So Wred is a women's networking group here in Toronto, and this year they are doing a panel event and networking event in celebration of International Women's Day, where they are featuring 4 phenomenal women. And to support them and promote these women, we are actually doing these mini podcasts to allow you to get to know them a little bit better. The event's taking place on March 10th, and if you want to know more about it, you can find out more at Wred, which is WRED events.ca. So to get started, I guess we'll head on over to Kaylee.
Yeah, that's right. So today we have Robyn Brown with us. So excited to chat with you.
Thanks.
Now, you're a principal at Arcadis, whose primary focus is on planning and economics. But I found it really interesting that you describe it as being at the intersection of planning, economics, and placemaking. So maybe tell us a little bit about how you got started in the industry and tell us a little bit about the intersection.
Sure. I admit my journey was a little bit wandery. I have a master's degree in history from the University of Toronto. And shockingly, not a lot of jobs for Master of History students. So when I graduated, I thought I was going to be an academic, got into it, sort of said, I'm not sure I really want a PhD. I don't want to do another 7 years. And so then I was kind of a little bit unqualified. So I bartended for a while, and I ended up getting a job in working for a commercial brokerage. I knew nothing about commercial real estate, but they were interested in me because I could research, I could write, and that was kind of the thing. So I joined a team out of a brokerage that no longer exists. It's now Cushman & Wakefield, but it was called J.J. Barnaky. And I joined a team that specialized in land sales and industrial leasing. Big learning curve, really cool, very, very male-dominated. It was brokerage at a certain time and very different. And so what I really liked about it was I would sort of research about land to understand where the future of land values were going, where infrastructure was going, like servicing, highways, so that we could help advise our buyers to buy up land, greenfield land. And I did it for a number of years, eventually got licensed. And it was cool, but it was really male-dominated. And it was real eat what you kill kind of, environment, not exactly fostering of women. And it was okay, but I realized ultimately I was also ripping up beautiful green fields, and I was kind of starting to feel a little sick about putting in warehousing. Although warehousing is very important, obviously distribution centers, that was really when they were coming in. Walmart had come into Canada, these big distribution centers, these big, 1 million square foot buildings with cross docks. That was a new sort of real new product to Canada, and we were really on the edge of sort of a lot of those developers. So I worked there for a number of years. I didn't realize what an emotional toll it was taking on me, just trying to be in sales when it wasn't really my personality, and trying to be one of the guys and trying to, really kind of compete at this level that I wasn't anybody's frat brother. I didn't golf. I didn't play hockey with the guys. My dad wasn't in the industry, and I just felt like I was swimming, against stream. So the recession happened, and, obviously that made me make a big decision because nobody was selling anything. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to fail because no women did it. And they were always like, women can't hack it. So I lasted a little longer than I probably should in retrospect because I wanted to prove them wrong. And so when the recession happened and there was nothing going on, I thought, okay, here's my graceful exit. Yeah. So I decided to go back to school. You're going to see a little theme about schools here. And I did a master's in urban planning at then Ryerson, now TMU. And it was such a great experience. I really got to discover myself again, feel more into the city, less, things like that. The campus was great. The program was wonderful because it was really a lot around, urban environments. You're right downtown. Yeah. You're right Yonge and Dundas, and you're in it. And that's a spicy place to be. Yeah. And it just really reignited a passion for me that I didn't realize that I had kind of lost. And it allowed me to be a little bit softer, which I think I also liked. And so that was really great for me. And I was able to take really interesting courses. I had a lot of knowledge because I understood how things worked. I understood how business worked. I was a mature student. Yeah. And then I was also they allowed me to take a bunch of courses through their MBA program, the real estate MBA program. And I was like, perfect, because I can do this.
Yeah.
I was like, these are bird courses for me.
Yeah.
And, and then I graduated, and I was like, oh, crap. I got to find a job. Like, I've just been unemployed for 2 years. So, I started applying around. I thought I was going to work for a real estate developer. I just thought that was my natural fit, like that's where you go, because I didn't want to work for a city. I knew that about myself. I didn't think I'd like the bureaucracy of being a planner at a city. Nothing wrong with it, but it's a political job, and I'm not maybe a political animal. And I was looking around. I'm on LinkedIn, and I see this job at IBI Group, which is now Arcadis. And it was said, like, land economist. And the job description's like this long. I look at it, and I'm like, don't think so. And I look at it again. And then the recruiter calls me, and he said, I know you've been looking at this job, which I did naive enough not to realize they can see what you're clicking on it constantly.
It's very big brothery.
And he's like, would you like to have a conversation about it? Well, yeah, I mean, this is great. I'm not getting any jobs. We have a great conversation. I just said, I got to be really honest with you. I have maybe 50, 60% of these skills. And he said something to me that I will always remember. He said, a man would apply with 20.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, okay then. I was like, I'm in.
And so true. Like, it's so true. They absolutely would. That's amazing.
I thought I had to have every single thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over this thing where I was like, well, I can't grow into this role. I can't possibly not be completely amazing at it. And I think that's a real woman thing. Like, we want to be perfect at something from the get-go. And that's really tough because that puts a lot of pressure on us. So, yeah, and then I ended up joining IBI Group, working for an incredible woman who really changed my life in many ways. Her name is Audrey Jacob, and I just, I spoke to her today. She's wonderful. And over time, I inherited her practice and was able to grow in a very entrepreneurial company that allowed me to build my own practice. I have my own clients. Allows me to foster a lot of women. I now have a lot of people that work for me, which I may have girl bossed a tiny bit too hard. And now I'm like, oh. And so that's kind of where I ended up. And as I said, it wasn't something I didn't know that urban planning was a thing. I didn't know about commercial real estate. Like, that was never, no guidance counselor. They were like, librarian, teacher, they're like, it was like business lady. I'm like, oh. And I just think, I kind of wish I had known about it, but in the end, all the steps I took to get where I got, to get there, it was okay because it actually gave me a real diversity of experience and that I appreciated.
Well, and what is it about urban planning that just like lights you up? What do you love about it?
I mean, I grew up in downtown Toronto. I'm one of those people, and my high school job was working for the public library system. And the public library system is really like the first, place for a lot of people. It is, it's where newcomers come. It's where the unhoused come. It's where children come, where seniors come. And so when you work at different libraries, you realize that each part of the city has very different challenges, different demographics, different needs. The book collections are different. Like, you work at the Gerard Ashdale Library, they've got 7 different Indian languages because that is how many there are. I worked at the Sanderson Library, which is in Alexandria Park, which is connected to a community center and a huge, now currently a redevelopment of a Toronto community housing project. And you really start to realize that the city is really unique and that it's got a lot of challenges, and this is a piece of major infrastructure. And I think it just gave me such a deep passion for the city.
Wow, that's amazing that you found that in a library. Like, who would have ever thought?
Anyone who's worked at the library, I know people are like, oh, must have been so quite nice. I'm like, oh no, it's a spicy place to work. Teenage Robyn saw things that she did not need to see.
It's so true. Like, I've been to, like, when I was studying for my real estate license a long time ago, I had like a 1-year-old. So I'd always, and our house was really small, so I always went to different libraries. Like, after work, I'd just be like, okay, I'm going to the library for like 2 hours, but they are completely different. And even like I don't know, you do the baby circles and stuff, and you do them at the libraries, and they're like, they're all really different. So I didn't work there, but I've utilized libraries all the time.
So I think that got me really interested, and it made me understand things about like how city budgets work and how and I think it also demonstrated me sometimes the inequity of how we allocate resources to different communities and how resources can be very stretched thin when a place that's supposed to be, people think it's just for reading or whatever, but is on the front line of the unhoused, now mental health, now, drugs. These, you're not trained to do these things, but you're the one because anyone can come into a library. It's warm. Yeah. You don't have to buy anything. And that is, an interesting place. So I think it really allowed me to really step out of any sort of privilege that I grew up with to see really what Toronto was about and what big cities were about. And so then I didn't put it together because it's funny because you think I would have taken urban planning or something like at that point, but I was like, history. That's the ticket. That's going to get me a job. Also, I'll tell you, I did my master's thesis on masculinity in 1950s science fiction films. So really pragmatic. Just really, really. My parents were just like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's good, great.
I actually am I feel like I have a lot of questions about that. But maybe for a whole other conversation. Yeah. Did I see that you did your master's of economics at the
London School of Economics?
Yeah, that's amazing.
I just finished about a year and a half ago.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. As said, I am a lifelong learner, and I was finding myself a little bit stuck in my career and a little uninspired. Okay. And I really wanted to kind of have a bit more international experience. I felt like these things were being gatekept from me. Right. And a lot of it, you don't have like an international degree or like an Ivy degree. And I'm like, okay, that's not a problem. I'll do that. And it was actually, I had seen in the back of The Economist, there was an ad for London School of Economics Masters in Cities program. And it's for experienced people, 10 plus years of experience where you're working some sort of type of city building, planning, development, law. And so I had cut the piece out and I had sat on it for a couple years. And then I was going to go and COVID hit and I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to go to London. Yeah. Obviously. I'm not going to just sit there at night online. And I applied and I got in and I started it. And it's an interesting program where it's like 21 city builders from a different city. Everyone's from a different city in the world. I was the only Canadian. Wow. Which was always, very interesting. Very interesting. And we all talked about, city level challenges. And how, you really realize even between the global south and the global north, these real commonalities of like the challenges around affordability, the polycrisis of affordability and climate change, aging infrastructure, all, like how to get transit going. Like you're just like, this isn't just my city's problem. Like every city has its problem. So again, it was one of those amazing reinvigorating things. But funny enough, the week before I started, my company got sold to Arcadis. And I thought I had set myself, I was like, I've got a great team. They know I'm leaving. I could totally coast a little bit. And I was like, oh, shit. But the good thing was part of the program, it's mainly about that, but there's a third of it was sort of about executive leadership. And so luckily they covered a lot of change leadership and how to manage change. And that really helped me be more prepared for kind of coping with a massive transformation when your organization was like, IBI was, I don't know, maybe over 3,000 people. Arcadis is 38,000 people.
Wow.
Like, that's a big change. Yeah. And people don't like change. And kind of, being a leader in those kind of changing times, like you really have to kind of, you got to find some reserves within you because it's hard. Yeah. And so it was a great program in that sense. And it really gave me a great network. I mean, like, people I went to school with were smart. Like I was like, oh, that's a big word. I had a little notepad with a couple of people. I was like, don't look at that one. And half of them, like, their English wasn't their first language. And I'm like, okay, that's, But it was good. And again, it was just sort of one of those things where I did it partly because I wanted to prove something to myself and to others, but also I knew that it would bring me joy and it would make me, it would make me inspired. And it did. And it really did. It really kind of like gave me another like jump.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I feel like very envious of that experience for you. That's very cool that you got to do that.
And my family's like, my parents came to my graduation, which was so cute. And they're like, this is the last one. I'm like, miss it though. I'm kind of eyeing up someone at MIT just to tell you.
Would you say that's been like the height of your career so far is getting that diploma, achieving that, finishing that course?
I don't know. I hope that the height of my career hasn't happened yet, to be really honest. I think I'd be a little bit disappointed if this was kind of it. Not that I haven't achieved amazing things, and I've had great colleagues who helped me do that. I don't don't know. I really hope there's some new, really exciting challenge and like something that I can like help, bring a really great solution to. I think that we have so many challenges. I love a problem. I want to fix things, which, can be a bad habit because then you immediately run to solutions.
Right.
And sometimes you don't really analyze the problem enough. You're like, I'll fix this for you. And sometimes like, oh yeah, people just want to talk. Sometimes they don't want to answer. So I'm really hoping that there's some really interesting role for me in the future that allows me to kind of gather all those things together, because I just feel like I've still got like little pieces and I haven't figured out how to weave them into my whatever's next.
Well, that's kind of a great way to maybe wrap it up. And yeah, I feel like it's going to be so great to have you on the panel on March 10th. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Okay, so that wraps up our mini series. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope we see you at the event on March 10th. So as a reminder, Wred is hosting a panel discussion and networking event in honor of International Women's Day on March 10th. If you want to know more, you can find out at wredevents.ca, so WRED events.ca. And if you want to learn more about us, we are the Real.to podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, or you can find us on our Instagram account, which is the Real.to podcast, or on LinkedIn. If you're interested in sponsoring us, please be sure to reach out to us. Just DM us on our Instagram account or through LinkedIn. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.